Michael.
Okay, my new streak starts next time. I'm 3 minutes late.
I'm giving you a pass, man. I'm running on fumes here, so I needed the extra 3 minutes.
Oh, great. And, that's the last thing we want to do is make this stressful.
Yeah, seriously, it's supposed to be a place we can, relax and connect and find some peace.
This is our safe zone.
Oh, man, have I needed one. I'm glad we got this going.
Yeah, let's just talk about triathlon and have fun with it.
Yeah, but since I'm, to be totally honest, I'm not really going to have too much time on this podcast, but a lot when we get off. So are you open to this Sunday having our next podcast, having two guests on? Are you open for that?
Yeah, I'm open. I'm totally open to that.
Well, it'd be a pretty cool dynamic, I think, that Blake, who's been on the podcast before, one of my athletes, he and his best friend, or one of his good friends, Jack, are putting on that open water swim race in Knoxville. So they want to talk to us a little bit about that. But then also Jack, who won Ironman Florida overall this last year. So he's actually an Ironman champion. And going to Kona this year will be on. And I think it'd be cool to ask him a few questions as well about his training and what it's like being somebody who can go, low 9 hours in an Ironman. And I think he just did Boston this coming week and did something just not even funny that you want to talk about. I'm thinking barely over 2:30 is what he.
Oh man.
Yeah, which is ouch. I mean, I think that's my PR for my half. No, I think he was because I got a text that he was on pace for 2:35. He won the short course 2012 triathlon in London. He was the overall age group winner at Escape from Alcatraz, and then obviously this last year when he punched his ticket to Kona, he won overall at Ironman Florida. It was an age group only race, but there were a few pros racing. I think even one of your old favorites, Pedro Gomez.
No, my boy Pedro.
Yeah, he dusted Pedro.
Well, he dusted Pedro, man. I want to grill him about some stuff.
You could have been down there wearing a shirt Save Pedro.
Save Pedro. He's my man. What a nice guy he is, Pedro Gomez.
Seriously, that Pedro, I tell you.
Have you been? I've had some interchange with him. Through.
I know. Maybe we could sneak attack on him. Hey, how does it feel to lose to? Anyway, but yeah, hopefully we can get them on. We'll discuss some more details off the air. But that was a real time thing. But today, I know you and I are both kind of struggling with topics and have been super busy. I was like, man, what should we talk about? What should we talk about? What happened to me this morning on my run? It was what I like to call seasonal reality check.
Oh.
And I thought, obviously, with the change of seasons, here in Kansas, they kind of just skip spring. Uh-huh. So we go from 30s, 40s to 85. And, the impact it can definitely have on your body when it comes to expectations and pacing and nutrition and hydration, transferring from this critical time of year where you're starting to train more, you're starting to train harder, and the temperature is going to go from 50 to up to 80 some days.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me today.
And guess what? Who else it happened to today?
Mike Terali.
You got it. So this could be perfect.
Same wavelength.
We do that all the time, actually.
I know we do. We should do a podcast or something.
I can't tell you how far I ran or any of the details, though, because I am starting to zero in on CC. And I know we talk about CC. He is the guy that he's our buddy that we have a little side bet, him and I, down at Chattanooga 70.3. So everybody doesn't get confused when we mention CC. But he's in the Crushing Iron Facebook private group. So you send us a request, we'll get you in there. Good stuff.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I guess that's also some breaking news. I made the jump onto Facebook.
Oh my God, I know. And I've officially crowned you administrator.
I saw that. Crowned me the administrator of the Crushing Iron Facebook page. I think I'm still waiting on a friend request from you. So if you could hop on that, that'd be great. I I'm just kidding. I think you've done it. I don't know. Actually, I don't know that you have.
I forgot I'm on Facebook.
Yeah, well, I do too currently. I just keep forgetting I have it.
So that brings up a quick point. Sorry, I know you're trying to get going here, but if someone that is on Facebook a lot, that is in the group, I'd feel free to go nuts in there and just start the fires rolling. Because
seriously,
we'll pop in when we remember that we're on it. But if you're on there more than we are, just get the conversation going.
Yeah, and I definitely have like all my notifications pretty much turned off.
Yeah.
For that, but I do have them on for the group, so I can be happy to connect and answer questions about for anything, and really looking forward to connecting more with the community here in the next coming weeks as we are upon race season.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into this. Yeah, let's start talking about this seasonal disorder.
Good, because I got chicken in the oven. So no, I mean, all other stressors aside, I haven't slept that great, and life stress right now is at like an all-time high.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
You know this. We texted about this yesterday.
I know, but I also know.
But anyway, I'm looking forward to moving. I'll be in Nashville by May 2nd, so I'm pretty stoked about that. So winding things down here, and looking forward to being in Nashville. Anyway,
May 3rd, the lake.
I don't know about well, maybe we'll see. Well, I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
So I went on my run today, tempo run. And was like, man, it feels great outside. This is gonna be great. I waited a little bit longer than I should have. Got to like mid 80s, and man, was I hurting. I was gonna go by feel, because I know the past few weeks I've been just really doing really great. I hit my numbers on feel. Today was one of those days where I knew that if I didn't look at my numbers and I just went by feel, I wasn't even gonna get close, because that's how much I was struggling.
Wow.
I was just, some days it feels like nothing. And then some days, for me, like a good tempo pace, I can do like 6:55s to 7s and feel like I'm pretty confident with it. Today, I was like literally feel like I was at like a threshold to run like 7:15, 7:20s. It was murderous. But tell me about your run. You said you struggled as well.
Yeah.
You don't know how bad but
I don't know. I struggled, but because I went out with because I haven't been running a whole lot, so I went out with this. All right, just feel it and go slow. Back to your mantra about patience. I really tried to be patient on this run. Again, I didn't really look at my watch. I was just kind of I was going out for some time, and every time I felt good, I purposely tried to slow down. And but it was getting hot, and about 3 miles in, I took off my shirt and it felt good. And I got out to the lab. That was the 3 mile mark, and ran around the lab, the lava field of Nashville, and I don't know. Yeah, but it started getting hot, and I just really tried to keep it slow, man. I wasn't doing any kind of tempo run, but you could definitely tell. This was like the first time I was out there, and it was starting to get that, mid to late race kind of delusion going on in your brain.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, so I was actually really happy about that, because like I was saying last podcast about how you get your head in that frame of mind, and it sort of reminded me of that feeling that you do get in a race where you're like, uh-oh, this is kind of weird. And I was also I just haven't really had any nutrition lately, so I've been running on water, so I wanted to make sure I wasn't pushing it too hard. And came back, and I know we don't like to stretch, but I did some
no, we don't like to stretch.
But I did do some, and I did some rolling and some good stuff, and I don't know, it felt pretty decent. I'm nowhere near ready for CC.
But, not yet.
But the sun was out, man, and it felt humid, and there was a lot of sweat going on there.
Yeah, so I'm looking at my data from this run where my interval set was two 2 mile efforts at my tempo pace, and today those 2 different intervals, so 4 miles total, my average pace was 7:16, and my average heart rate was 179.
Whoa!
Whereas just 2 weeks ago, I did it where my tempo was just 4 straight miles, and I averaged 7:06s, and my average heart rate was 167.
Wow.
So it much different climate, but that's just how much of a factor temperature plays on you. And we talk about it all the time with not going into races with expectations, because you got wind and temperature changes that can just really blow you out of the water. Mm-hmm. And the lesson I learned today was obviously one thing I do always have to do in the summertime is cut back on my coffee, because it already jacks up my heart rate. I'm fine with it in the wintertime because I'm not under so much stress when I run because of the heat and the sun. But in the summertime, it just hits me like 5 times as much. So this morning, I had a cup of coffee, took Hayden to daycare, went straight to the trail. Oh, man, I knew within like my first half mile that it was going to be just miserable. Because conventional thinking tells you, hey, wait, go, if you take your shirt off, go for a run, you're going to get more cooling because you don't have a shirt. Well, I can tell you right now, for me, I mean, eventually, yes, to a point, but having a shirt on actually will keep you cooler down the line, because you're not getting the sun's rays just totally beating down on your skin and frying you. You might feel a little bit more of a breeze, but like the constant contact of the UV rays and the heat going on your skin really, really heats you up fast. And also right now, I read an interesting article today that right now Kansas City is the worst place in the U.S. for allergies.
Oh, and Nashville second.
Yeah, and so obviously, and I mean, I feel like I was a smoker, and I was like trying to suck the exhaust out of a pipe. I mean, that's how much I struggled today.
Yeah.
But it is that time of year where it's going to be a reality for a lot of people. You're looking at your winter paces of, let's say, like it's an 8-minute mile, and you're going to go out, and let's say it's 40s and 50s. So now you're going to go out when it's 80 to 90. I can tell you right now, it's not going to be 8 minutes, and you're going to be disappointed and feel like you're getting out of shape. But the fact of the matter is that it's going to take you to get acclimated to the heat, or at least the transition. It's going to take you between 2 to 4 weeks, and it's really dependent based on how frequent you do things. So you can actually acclimate to the heat within about 2 weeks, as long as you do something every day, whether it be for 20 to 30 minutes, like just outside in the heat or the increased temperatures, or maybe even a session in the sauna after you work out, or if you do it sporadically, 3 to 5 times a week, it can take you up to 3 or 4 weeks. The good news is after you've acclimated, in order to just retain that physiological change, you only have to do it in those temperate and hot environments 3 to 4 times a week. So you're not necessarily obligated to continue like the everyday thing and really stress your body.
Yeah. And you know what else I was thinking about out there today was that I was out there running only, and I had to go to the bathroom. There was a portalet out there, and I got in there, and it reminded me of the changing tent.
Oh, dude. It's like 1,000,000 degrees in there.
But it reminded me of, the changing tent. And then I started thinking, like, oh, my God, I am so hot. And I didn't even get off my bike. But, you talk about acclimating to the weather, and this whole idea of just going out to run for an hour or so.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started thinking about, oh, my God, how hot am I going to be getting off that bike? And right when you start. And I suppose even like you're just talking about the acclimation piece, if you go out running and it's like 85, 90 like it is right now or whatever, and you're going to feel warmer right out of the gate, so you probably have to force yourself to slow down even more, because you probably feel better than you do with cold legs. Is that something too? And you get delusional, and then about 2 miles in, you're like, whoa.
Yep. And what I'm also noticing for me is that I noticed it really on my long run this weekend. It was about 320. Mm-hmm. I was on the feet. And in the wintertime, I can really get by with just limited calories and just lots of noon and hydration. Well, now that it's getting so humid, even though I'm going slower, it's time to start packing in the calories on the run. So that's something I'm going to have to start transitioning to, is to getting back into my EFS, and taking in more calories and really focusing on not just hydrating with water, but continuing to get down the nutrients and the specific nutrients, the carbs and the electrolytes that I need to get down in order to continue to race. It's just a huge transitional time of year. I mean, you probably saw it if you were following a lot of people on the Boston Marathon. The Boston Marathon is like one of those races where like it's one of the most common races where people just totally blow their load on terrible pacing and terrible nutrition and hydration strategies. It was supposed to be a fast course this year, and it was for a lot of people. But if you get a tailwind the whole way, yeah, you're going to be faster because you get that extra push, but you get zero cooling. You get no wind from the side and no wind coming at you till you can actually cool yourself. So I read it and saw a lot of people really, really struggled because they didn't adapt. They took for granted what's free speed? Well, free speed is one thing, but it doesn't mean it doesn't come with a price. And that price comes with extra caloric needs to help cool yourself down.
Wow, that's interesting you say that, because like I said, I did go to the lab, and we all know, or we don't all know, but you know what that means.
I know.
So the first leg of that thing, I was running with the wind, and you're right. It was just sort of this. By the end of it, it was it's like 800 yards, one stretch, and then by the end of it, I was super hot, and I was just craving to run into the wind because I was sweating and it was getting in my eyes and everything like that. I just wanted it to dry off a little bit. And that's wild that you say that. I didn't even think of that. But yeah, I didn't know that really, that the caloric needs are higher. It seems like it would almost be, it makes sense now that you say it, but like I always think in the winter you need more calories to stay warm. Well, I don't know. But
there's that happy medium to where you don't, and then there's those two ends of the spectrum to where your body's going through more energy and burning more calories because it needs to work harder to stay warm, versus the other end of the spectrum that you can get to where your body has to do the exact same in order to cool itself.
Oh, okay.
So there's that happy medium in the middle, but then once you get to a point, and it's also dependent on like your sweat rate and all kinds of other different factors. But yeah, so you're looking at both ends of those spectrums. But having a tailwind, yeah, while it might be beneficial for, I'd love to see what the data is on like the percentage increase in pace you get from like a certain mile an hour tailwind versus the body's like core temperature, the percentage it rises by not having it cooled, and what that actually does to your pace in turn.
I bet Magnus has something like that.
Magnus, you know what? He probably does. Maybe I'll hit him up and ask him. Yeah. Because I know in the past I've looked up as far as what temperature does to your running pace. And it's like once you get up to like the high 90s or high 80s, early 90s, high 80s, low 90s, we're talking about like 25 to 30 second difference minute per mile that you can sustain.
You sent me that.
Which
There's
is
a graph.
Yeah, I think that sent you that before we did Louisville, when we knew it was going to be like 100.
And I never looked at it. No, it didn't soak in, obviously.
Well, obviously, yeah, because you walked like 3/4 of it.
Hey, now come on, dude.
Sorry, man. I had to, you never read my articles. I had to throw a jab at you.
I do, but I was thinking about that today when I was writing too, and it goes back to this because I do feel a lot of pressure that I've put on myself, and we've obviously been talking about it for a long time. You have to have a reality check. You can't set your goal 8 months ago, and then if you're not sticking to your plan, expect to still hit that goal. So I've been trying to balance my enthusiasm and my desire to shock the world with accepting where I'm at. But then I started writing about, I was just just kind of journaling, and I was writing about how that kind of has always been my way, even sort of a late minute or last minute crammer for tests, and sometimes I get an A, sometimes I kind of blow it off and then just really hammer down at the end and get an A, but most of the time I got C's. So I guess that's what kind of keeps me going, in the sense of, I'm like, well, I can still figure this out. I got a month to cram for this race, and maybe I can still pull off that, but I got to let that go, man. And, if it happens,
you got to let it go.
If something happens.
You do. You got to let it go.
So I'm going to start shooting lower, but I'm going to keep focusing on
good.
Just getting better.
That's what I like to hear.
Getting better. Yeah, it was. I had this. It's so funny you brought this topic up today, because I was out there running, and I was, I do a lot of greenway running, and it just at some point the whole concept of that godforsaken Chattanooga greenway got in my head, and I just reminded myself that I was going to be on that thing. It's a nice greenway, but I mean, come on, I'd rather run in the roads or something. But I had that heat flash, and I think this was the first time that I doused myself with water several times in a while too. So it was kind of that reminder. Cool the head, and then I started thinking about putting ice in my hat and the whole 9 yards. So yeah, we're getting there, man.
Yeah, we are. We're definitely getting there. Always stay ahead of it. A couple things you can always do is ice cubes in your hands actually are proven to help reduce core temperature. So when you're running and you go to aid station, take the ice, put it where you need to, put it on your chest, put it in your ball cap, and then before you ditch your cup, put ice cubes in your hand and hold on to them, because that's a proven method to help cool your body as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. And
does it?
Yeah, it really does. Because
okay.
I don't know why, but it seems like your hands get really hot. But why is that?
I don't know. I don't have any idea. But I've read the research, and I've seen many of people that I think are very, very intelligent human beings do it as well. I don't know if it's about like where your body like dissipates heat or what that has to do with it, but your groin is also a place. I mean, you see people throwing ice down their trousers at races.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't.
You don't?
I don't. I'm afraid of like a really poor shaped ice cube.
Oh.
And what that may or may not do to my ability to have more children.
Well, here's something. The one thing, it definitely helps putting ice in like a trucker cap and then just letting it melt up there. That's what I've done that before. But what I can't stand is it all melts and it gets my feet wet. So, what is there a strategy or a technique for avoiding that, or are you just going to slosh?
With your feet?
Yeah, because you're
just going to slosh, man.
I can't.
I mean, you can change socks if you want, but that's going to take time.
It doesn't matter because your shoes are wet. Yeah, I've done that before. I did it. I actually did that at Chattanooga full. At the halfway point, I changed my socks, and then about 2 miles later, I was soaked again, and I was like, why did I even do that? I wasn't thinking straight.
Yeah.
Because it just melts and it goes down your kit, and no matter where you put it, it just kind of drains down your legs and goes right into your shoes.
True.
And I'm not a big fan of that, so I don't know. I don't know what to say.
You just got to deal with it. It happens to everybody.
Well, I just feel like you need to invent something like a bandana with like a straw drain that goes off your back. That's what I've been thinking about lately.
The triathlete gutter.
Yeah. Some kind of gutter.
All right, we just need some seed money.
Yeah.
And we'll here we're off and running. Entrepreneurs.
Yeah, it keeps the sun off your neck and it drains the water off.
I like it.
Keeps you dry.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's really all I had for today.
That's
the season changing and things you can do and ways to prepare yourself for the change in temperature. And really just if anybody hasn't gone through that transition, to maybe that they can head themselves off and not go through the same sufferfest that you and I both went through today.
Right. Is there any way that as it's getting hot like this, is that water going to be wetsuit legal, you think, at Chattanooga? You don't know.
I have no clue, dude.
I feel like it has been. I mean, every year I've done Rev, it's been like 7 or 60 degrees, but
I imagine it still will. I mean, it's also, it's a it's a river, so it's not like a stagnant body of water. So it has a much better chance of being wetsuit legal that way.
Oh, rivers aren't stagnant?
Nah, the Cumberland is.
All right, so what are you going to do now? Go get some chicken?
Yeah, I got chicken in the oven, and start packing, man.
Yeah, you got to get moving.
Literally. And a big good luck to my athlete, Lisa, who will be going for her BQ on Saturday.
Oh, where at?
At the Caramel Marathon.
In Indianapolis?
I believe so.
Okay.
So she probably hates the fact that I said that because now she'll feel some pressure. But hey, Lisa, if you're listening, you got to earn that Dairy Queen, honey.
I'll be tracking. Everybody track her.
Edit this shit out. Oh, God.
That's good. It'll be good for us.
Man.
Make a bunch of friends.
Yep, well, this is my last podcast, and I've lost an athlete. Sweet deal. Glad we could have this conversation.
Yeah. All right, so anything else out there?
No, man. Keep the questions coming. Hit me up. Hit us up on email or hop in and like the Crushing Iron Facebook page and the closed group. And if you have a tent we can use for Chattanooga 70.3, come on now. I got a great little deal there waiting for you.
Oh, that's right. Huge deal.
Huge deal.
Okay, let's wrap it up.
All right, man.
Chicken time.
Chicken time, and then I'll reach out to you later about our guests this weekend.
Okay, sounds great.
All right, man. See you, dude. Yep.